hello, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, good night, whatever it is, wherever you happen to be. Welcome to Captain Forces HQ. Come on. Now what I'm going to do this evening is actually show you around a bit of personal guided tour actually to the museum. But in the interim we've had some questions and we're going to make some answers and so forth. So if you think of anything you want to know, providing it doesn't incriminate me, just drop us a message when we come this way. As I said earlier, welcome to Captain Fawcett's Emporium and marvellous Barber Shop Museum. Now, this is our 10th anniversary, and tonight was our huge party. I don't know if you've ever heard of our parties. I mean, they're famed. I think the last party had more than 360 people here. They were everywhere. They were hanging over the banister. I mean, some people feats of strength hanging from ropes. We've left the rope up there. Burlesque. I mean, magnificent spectacle. People had come from all over the world. America, Sweden, Germany, Russia even, Italy, you name it. And tonight was our 10th anniversary party. But for obvious reasons, this dang COVID palaver, paraphernalia, whatever it is, we've had to cancel. Well, let's say postpone. So tonight, it's really just ye and thee, or thee and ye, or me, he, you, whatever. Anyway, it's you and me. So if you've got any particular questions, as I mentioned earlier, just fire them through, say hello, whatever. And then Bryony, my able-bodied chortling chum, assistant here, is operating the camera and will pass back any questions. We've had a few questions emailed in, and as I said at the door, providing I don't incriminate myself, and if that's Kenneth Head, there's no way that I ever want to bring that subject up again. I didn't do it, and we know I didn't do it, so I won't go there. Anyway, any other more normal questions that don't involve, that unfortunate experience, I'll quite happily go for. Right, Bryony, what do we have first of all? Let's just go through a couple here, shall we?
How do you brew-proof your moustache?
How do I what?
Brew-proof.
Brew-proof?
Yes.
A brew-proof?
Brew-proof for your cup of tea.
Oh, a brew-proof?
Yeah, you brew.
Oh, a brew.
Yeah.
I've never heard of it. How do I brew-proof? Well, I think if you've waxed it up and off your lip, then you can actually avoid any number of kind of things. I mean, let me demonstrate here. That should be perfectly okay. So my moustache is waxed up and away, but I do have a collection, which you'll see later, of over 500 shaving and moustache guard cups. So, and we actually, Captain Fawcett does make so that's a way of doing it. There are various other sort of things that people manufacture that will allow you to drink a pint of beer without getting your upper lip sweater wet. But I think with a certain amount of diligence, and invariably you can always tell if you've got something in your beard and moustache because your partner, the person sitting opposite you, is always quite inclined to tell you. I find it quite annoying. There we are. Next.
Benjamin Rees asks, what are your top tips for growing a beard?
Growing a bit?
What are your top tips for growing a beard?
Do you want another vodka?
Oh, maybe, yeah.
What's the top tips? Well, the most important thing, growing a beard is very interesting because it depends really on a number of factors. I mean, we are graced with different DNA and things like this, and so different cultures, different ages of our life will have a different kind of growth. You know, invariably, if you're 16, you're not generally going to have necessarily a great beard. I think the best thing to do is to literally let it grow. Everyone's going to be telling you off. You're going to be saying, "Look stupid." Your mum, your partner, everybody, people you work with, going to be saying you look awful. Well, bugger them, because it's really about you. This is your journey, your growth. It's nothing to do with them at all. It's a bit like when you grow your hair out, though. There's always that kind of difficult period when you shove it into a bobble hat. So the most important thing is really just let it grow. Let it grow, let it grow. You might have little patches here. Oh, God knows. Everyone is really quite different. You know, you may have a straight beard, you may have a curly beard, you may have a beard that can grow to your knees in a matter of 3 years. You may have a beard that takes, hours and hours. Hours. A beard that grows in hours, that would be pretty good. Days, months, weeks, years to get it actually anywhere whatsoever. The most important thing is to grow. Let's see what you've got. Go to a really good barber then with your beard and stuff, and allow them to then style it to your shape of your face. They can do all kinds of things. They can't actually increase the growth of your beard, but they can certainly accentuate it and make it look the best.
Muriel asks, what would you like the next 10 years to bring?
Good Lord, relief. Thank you, Muriel. That's another story. Anyway, where are we? Muriel, yes, indeed. The 10 years. Well, it has been the 10 years, and it's been a lot of work. Who'd have thought? I mean, I've made my moustache wax for well over 25 years, and have worn my moustache and beard on and off for that time. When I made the moustache wax in my kitchen, who really would have thought 10 years ago that we'd be running such a business? I don't think if I'd ever put together a business plan, I don't subscribe to that kind of thing. I think if I'd ever put together a business plan and gone to see a bank manager or somebody and suggested that I was going to create a business that relied on waxing moustaches, I think they probably would have laughed me out of their office. So nobody really knows exactly what's around the corner. So another 10 years, good Lord, I may even be greyer by then. But thank you, Muriel.
Laura asks, have you ever dealt with loss of hair in a beard, like bare patches?
Yes, you can. A very close friend of mine, Hector, I hope you're there, Hector, down in Brighton. You know, he suffered from alopecia for a period of time. And I think going back to really what I said, grow your beard, and then you can do certain lengths can cover up certain gaps that you may have, or you may have a complete area that you have to really shape the beard to minimize that kind of thing. But it will invariably, it will grow. It's just some patches will take longer to grow. I mean, our faces aren't symmetrical. Our hair growth is not symmetrical. So sometimes you might find one side is particularly a bushier growth. I myself have to avoid this kind of going out from the sides, and I can, in a matter of weeks, I can look like Farmer Giles.
What is your single most favourite item in the Emporium and Museum? From Ian.
Ian, well, we have, as you will see, we have a phenomenal collection here. I suppose it's the rarity of items which makes things really quite exciting. And I frequent junk shops, antique shops, second-hand shops, anywhere. And there was an old cupboard, and it was local. And the lady phoned me, and what happened, they'd opened the cupboard, and they were looking at it, they bought it to sell. And behind the back of a drawer, they found various things which obviously were keepsakes. How long they'd been there, nobody knows. But she found a razor there, and it's still got an edge on it, and we're going to have a look at it later. And it's been accurately dated to about 1650, and it even has like Cutler's poetry inscribed on the blade, and it's still got an edge. So something that's nigh on 400 years old and has survived. That's incredible. So that's probably my favourite item.
Minibus Matt is asking, is King's Lynn underrated?
I think wherever you live in the world, it's really about what you create. So I think King's Lynn often can be seen as the country cousin, maybe to Norwich or possibly Cambridge. Two cities, well-known university towns, which are approximately 40 miles in either direction. But I think wherever you live, it's what you make it. It's about the people, and it's about the community. And as to whether it's something underrated, do you mean by the people who live here or by the people who don't live here? So everywhere is what you make it. Everywhere is very special. It's like human beings. Some of us are very special. All of us.
Have you ever shaved your beard off?
I have. Yes. I've got a son now who I'm very proud of, who is just being 24. And when I was about 3 years old, I was a bit of a renegade. And the mother of my son, she wanted to split up. And I was really I didn't really want to split up. I had Jack, and I was really excited. He was 3, as I said. And she said, I've never liked your hair, because I've got quite long hair. Never liked your hair or your beard or moustache. I thought, oh, gosh. And I shaved it all off, right, hoping that we may stay together. We didn't stay together, so I grew it all back. And we are very, very good friends now.
What's the longest length that you've ever grown your beard?
Well, about where it is now, and because it's quite grey or white, it depends on what clothes you wear, that, you know, how well it appears to be defined. There's a thing called terminal beard. There's a club at Arne Bielfelter, one of the great US beard and moustache competitors from California way. He's got this club called the Terminal Beard Club, because your hair growth, whether it's your head hair or your beard hair, will grow to a length, and that's as far as it will go, and it won't go any further. It has a terminal length. So different people, as I said before, depending on all kinds of different things, their beard will grow to different lengths, but it will come to a point where it won't grow any longer. So this has taken me quite a long time to grow. And I know as well a couple of other tricks that the competitors will use is they may even put a little bit of colour just in the end to create a little bit of visual sort of density and stuff. There's things you can do to make your beard appear thicker. A beard balm's an ideal way of doing that, because you'll actually coat the hair as opposed to a beard oil. So it will actually coat the hair and add something to the follicle, to the shaft, and make it look a little bit thicker. But basically, it's like everything. It's what God, or your God, or whatever God you believe in, if you don't believe in God, it's whatever you've been graced with, is really what you've got, and they ain't changing it.
Russell Bristow is asking, can you get addicted to the beard shampoo? Think I might be.
Yes, you certainly can. I would avoid drinking it though, Russell, though we know about some of your old habits, because you're liable to blow bubbles. Yes, it's a really good shampoo, the beard shampoo, and this is not an advertising plug, but the new shampoo that we've done for Captain Fawcett and the latest one for Ricky Hall is also fantastic. I think it was got launched last week, so try and get hold of some of that. How are you, Russell? Russell Bristow, I should mention to everybody, is the he's the world champion, and he's also a Captain Fawcett ambassador. I'm very proud to know him and his girlfriend, Faith. Thank you.
What are your top tips for grooming the beard?
Grooming the beard. Well, I think it's very important with anything is to try and keep it clean. I wouldn't overwash your beard. It's like overwashing your hair. If you overwash it, you're liable to strip the hair, both beard and head, from its natural oils and actually create it to go quite dry, which is why people then effectively condition afterwards. In the old days, of course, they didn't do anything like that. Our grandmothers or great-grandmothers, in some of your cases, 100 years ago, would have had incredibly very long hair, and they'd have brushed it, the things like, how many times, 80, 100 times, because what you're doing effectively then is brushing or combing through the natural oils. So the first thing to do is, I wouldn't wash your beard every day, most definitely not. If you've got very short hair in your head, then you can get away with that. I would actually make sure that you comb and brush it through and dress it. So today, I've just used a few oils which I've actually blended in together. So it's about keeping it clean, keeping it presented, and keeping food out of it.
The Dram Buster is asking, what's your favourite moustache wax?
Well, we have a lot of different moustache waxes at Captain Fawcett, as you well know. And it's different things, different scents, for different times. You might want something a little bit darker or a little bit, heavier, a little bit more spicy, a bit more oody, possibly for an evening. And in the day, you want something really bright. And, so the Rufus Hound one is very spring, very floral kinds of stuff. Or you might want a Ricky Hall for the evening. For me, I love them all. I mean, I do love them all. We've created them. I'll tell you about something a little bit later. The one that people are really, really enjoying at the moment and saying we've got to make a perfume from is the Maharaja. It's the Palamine called Viraj Singh from the London Jodhpur company. We've been discussing stuff for years. We've got lots of common interests. He loves he does all these incredible Indian wedding costumes for men, with gold swords and absolutely beautiful stuff. And he's got a phenomenal sense of style and of history, things that, interest me. And we produced a range together called the Maharaja, and we have a beard oil and a beard balm and a moustache wax in that. And I'd say that's probably my current favourite. But hey, I've got a lot to choose from.
Stingray is asking, my sideburns won't join up with my beard. Am I restricted to just growing a goatee?
How old? Well, how old are you? Okay, beard growth will really come, and it comes on different times. I can tell you, when I was 21, I didn't have a hair on my chest, and it's a very, very different story now. I look a bit like a welcome mat. You may find it. Somebody's house in a minute else now. So things will. Sorry. So things will come in time. So at the moment, as I said, if they don't join up, you don't necessarily have to have a goatee. There's all kinds of things that you can actually do here.
He's 51.
51. 50. What was his name again? Stingray.
Yeah, Stingray 569.
That's a really cool Stingray, ba-da-da-da-da, Sting. One of my favourite super Mario Nation, Troy Tempest and Marina. Anyway, I digress. I'm sorry, I'm going mad here. 51. I suspect that they may not. I mean, I'm not a trichologist, which is an expert in hair. I suspect they may never join up. So make good with what you've got and be proud, sir. Thank you for dropping in.
I Long for Capital Letters asks, what's your favourite flavour of ice cream?
Ooh, it has to be, well, not too much because it can be a bit too sickly, but I love a very, very dark chocolate with a hint of sweet caramel on the side.
Bearded Biker Dad asks, what's the flavour for winter?
The flavour for winter? Wow. Well, we've got something coming up, which I can't tell you about, which is a waste of time, isn't it? Me mentioning it, really. Anyway, October the 16th, we have got a launch with a very well-known, probably one of the top guitarists in the world. And I think that will be this winter's flavour. It's kind of a hint of, well, I can't tell you.
Benny QR is asking, why do you wax your moustache the way you do?
Well, again, Benny, some people have a phenomenal growth. You know, as I said, people have different kinds of growth. So you have to. Some people may have a very deep septum. They might have all kinds of things. So it's a question of doing it as you would. So I could leave it and go down into the beard. I do like to separate it. So I really make use of what I have. So it's a style that kind of suits me. I can curl it slightly, and I mean, there's various things I can do. You know, I can go like the points of a compass. So I style it because it's what facial hair I have.
Kim, our ambassador, is asking, how did you end up in this business?
Hi, Kim. Sweden. Hello, Sweden. Hello, Sweden. Okay, mate. Well, yeah, I'm very proud to know you. Thank you for all your support over the years. Brilliant. That's a pity you're obviously not at our party tonight. Well, as we are, I suppose, having a bit of a party, albeit with tea as opposed to whatever. Slivovitz. How did I end up in this business? Well, it was either this or community service, to be honest. No, I jest. I spent, and everyone gets totally bored of hearing this, I spent 25 years in the film and TV industry, and I was a boom operator. He's the guy who, or sometimes a woman, who waves the long stick with a hairy thing on the end and tries with varying degrees of success to keep the microphone out of shot. And as I said, I waxed my moustache for years and years and years. My wife is a hair and makeup artist, very well known one. She got Emmy for Downton Abbey and blah blah blah. We all know those stories. And one day she said, "Listen, I'll take some of my moustache wax for the floor bags, you know, for the makeup artist." And that's really how it began. People like Peter Swords King, he got the Oscar for Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit, he did all Pirates of the Caribbean. He uses our products on every set. So I'm very proud to say it came about by accident. But I think my experience in the film industry actually has helped develop, you know, HQ, because HQ is very much a set, and the characters in it, all the people who work here. Oh, hang on. Oh, excuse me, one moment. Oh, dear. Hello, speak up. You're through to Fawcett HQ. Oh dear. Listen, I can't really talk now. I'm actually doing a live interview. I'm really, really sorry. What? Fish and chips. For two? Okay, 1 second. Should be home back orders. I've got to go anyway. Fish and chips and peas? Okay. Okay, clear. Goodbye. It's my mother. I've told her never to call me at work. Forgive me, I've just ordered tea. Mind you don't go flying over there. Right, where were we? I can't remember what the question was. I was talking to Kim, wasn't I?
Yes.
Sorry, Kim. Right, sorry, it's my mother. Fish and chips. Do you have fish and chips in Sweden?
You were on about how the business started.
Oh, how the business started. I'm beginning to, yeah. So how did it start? So, my wife started using it at work, and then I went from my 6 tubs. I used to make these little plastic pots. The 6 pots myself for a year, to suddenly producing 100 jars, and then, well, thousands that go all over the world now. Thanks to you guys, really appreciate it. And if you've got a moment to go on to our virtual film, which we've created instead of the party, you'll actually be able to go round and explore yourself, and you can see where we still make. This is what many companies can't say this. We still make all our waxes, all our beard oils and our beard balms ourselves here in this building. If you ever come and visit, I'll be happy to show you around.
Arpan is asking, do you sell mini sample sets to help someone new get an idea of what balm they might like, for example?
We don't really, because we're still a very small company, so we don't have these kind of things like, lots of companies have these very small little tins and all this kind of stuff which they can send out to would-be people. Well, we do have some sample fragrance cards, our perfumes. People can look at that. But I don't really have any extra special small sizes, no.
Gail Monkey is asking, how did you stay this humble?
Humble?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not sure if that's a bit of a trick question. I think the most important thing is to be genuine, right? It's a bit like, as I was saying, about being, involved in film or TV. If the actor is in character, he or she will say whatever they are meant to say in that given scene because they are in character, so there's no real pretense there. So I believe in everything that we do. As I said, we make the products. I believe we come into work and we are entering a set. So it's being part, you're like a part in a play, you're an actor in a play. I mean, Shakespeare said we're all actors, and the whole world's a stage and stuff. So I don't think I'm particularly humble, but I think it's very important to be truthful. And if you're truthful and genuine, then you can't really go wrong. As soon as you start not being contrived or trying to be something that you're not, that's when you fall down. Be yourself and be proud of who you are.
Mansa MJ is asking, do you have any products that are fragrance free?
Interesting, yes we do, but invariably I'll make those to order. I had a particular request, a couple of requests actually, same request, where my moustache wax is I'm using beeswax and predominantly it's yellow, and people who've got grey or white beards and moustaches don't really like to use a yellow wax because it can give you that effect of looking like, you smoked too many fags or something. So I will on occasion make a complete whole run of clear wax, and I can certainly make something that's fragrant free. Send your order in and I'll put it on the stove after this. How's that?
Stingray is asking, how easy was it to use Douglas Lang's Big Pete whiskey in your moustache wax?
That was quite an interesting thing because oil and alcohol generally don't mix. So invariably, when you see a product like that, then quite often you need to use an emulsifier. Otherwise, effectively, it will separate. We didn't want to do that. We had a visitor just a little bit earlier, and he came and he's a whiskey aficionado, and he's just taken a wax and a beard oil away with him. And then, of course, we did the Big Pete, and then we also did the Gentleman's Stiffener, which is using a Speyside whiskey. So we actually got round it by being very cautious with the amount, and we did use the real whiskey by just using a certain amount, because if you put too much fragrance in any moustache wax, then of course what you'll do is effectively soften it. So you don't want it soft, you need to have a certain amount of hold. So getting the balance between the amount of fragrance and the amount of wax is a bit of It's a little bit of a dark art, but there's a lady called Lou, who's the wife of Ian, who's the designer of Captain Fawcett. You know, we started the company when Ali, there's three of us started the company together. Ali, who's so specialised in social media, Ian, who does all the design, and myself. Now, Ian's wife, of 29 years, I think, just literally celebrated on Monday, we call her the master blender. So she's an aromatherapist of some repute, and it's her skill. So she blends pretty much all the fragrances together and then matches them with the amount of wax. With the Big Pete, to answer your question, Stingray, with the Big Pete, then obviously the fragrance already kind of existed, so we needed to work with that.
Kim is asking, now 10 years into this, what are you most proud of?
I think it's about being totally dedicated to what you do. Whatever you do in life, I think this is for everybody, you know. Whatever floats your boat, you just do it to the maximum thing. And then maybe you move on to something else. You know, by the time, you know, we get to my age, you may have had 3 or 4 different lives. And I think it's about the survival and actually attracting other people, because I consider myself really to be like a conductor of an orchestra. You know, I can't play all the instruments. I can't operate the camera. I can't do all the computer stuff necessarily. Some of the products, which I used to make myself, are beyond my skill. So we all have different things. So people come and help, and they bring their creative stuff to Captain Fawcett. So I suppose it's not being able to play every instrument, but actually understanding what sound each instrument should make, and then effectively conducting that into an overall, what I consider to be a delightful piece of music.
Benny QR is asking, where is your coat from?
Funny you should say that, because I was just going to mention, what have I done with my magazine? Where did I do that magazine? The Idol. I lost it. Oh, where is it? You're just taking a photo with it. 1 second, I'll be back with you. Have you got it there? You put it away. Well, who was that asking? Benny. Hello, Benny, I'm back. Well, it's really funny you should say that, because this coat, right, I wore this coat my first ever trade show when we have a stand, you may have seen it, which is very similar to the way, it's very Edwardian, it's very like a beautiful old shop fitting, an old apothecary or chemist or something like this. And I used to take it all up in the van, and then I'll unload the van, and I'll put all the stuff. So you'd be there 3 or 4 hours, or even a day or so before the show started. Then you'd do the whole show, then you'd take the whole shebang down, and you'd be absolutely exhausted, you know. And then once upon a time I thought, right, you know what, I can't do all this. I'm going to get somebody to actually take the stand up there, put it up for me, and then I will, you know, I will still dress the stand, but the actual humping and lumping will be done for me. And at the end of we employed this company, great company, and at the end of the show, the guy came to take it all down. And he said, listen, I have to tell you something. I move so many exhibition stands, loads. I have to tell you, your stand is one of the best stands I've ever seen. I said, thank you very much. He said, let me give you one word of advice. Don't ever wear that coat again. I've worn that coat ever since, ever since. And today, this month, the Idler, which I don't know if any of you know, the Idler, it's kind of like, it's like interesting, it's a bit like a cross between the Oldie and This Week or something or whatever. In their fashion section in the Idler, look, it's actually my coat. Storman's Warehouse by Yarmo Classic in Norfolk, which is where I get it. So finally, at my ripe old age, I've been designated an arbiter of fashion. So I knew I'd come round. So Yarbu sucks to the man who said never wear the coat. So that's where it's come from. And we're going to be doing some Captain Fawcett ones shortly. In fact, my local barber, Derek from Esquire, he wears a customised one. So if you want one, there's some Fawcett stuff on, give me a shout and we'll sort you out.
Where can you get one of those mugs?
With me?
People are asking where you can buy them. Yeah. What?
Oh, me. This mug. You get to find a mug like me if you ever find a mug like me. Anyway, well, we can probably sort you one out as well. You have to drop us an email. We did do a few. It's got keeping a stiff upper lip regardless on the back. We did do a few, and we can do some more. So drop us an email or info@captainfawcett.com, and we'll make some more. How's that sound?
Did you want to do a talk?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. All right, so we have a little bit of a tour round. Should we start at the beginning? Yep. Okay. Very good place to start. It's so bright, isn't it? Now, I suppose the thing that really attracts me to collecting beard, brushes, shaving, kind of all that paraphernalia is it's quite small, invariably. Although this collection is quite large. It's quite small and it's something you can pick up invariably quite inexpensively. And I think the thing that's really of interest, it doesn't matter who you are. You can be the poorest chap in the world, possibly in Mumbai, maybe with a bit of broken mirror and the shave waller squatting down, giving you a shave. Or you can be somebody like, Al Capone, the rumour of Al Capone, when the barbers and the manicurists and everybody would go every day to his hotel suite and get him pretty well all groomed up. What I'm trying to say, it doesn't matter if you're the poorest person or the richest person in the world, every man and boy at some point in their life has had a shave and or a haircut. So the only difference actually in the apparatus, in the stuff that does it, is the quality, is what it is, what it's made from, So here we've got some Victorian sort of brushes. I mean, lots of this would be silver. We've got here a really beautiful ivory moustache curling tong. It's really funny because I found the case for that in a place in Norfolk, and I found the actual curling tong in another city, kind of altogether. And if we come here, this is a perfect example. Oh, this is interesting. This is the old stopwatch, the pocket watch that Ian first found in an auction in Twickenham down in South London, and it's got the CF logo which we actually adapted. So everything we've got here is really a history about what we do. And of course here we're talking about really priceless stuff. So here we've got, this is all solid silver or pewter, and here all ivory. Of course, it's pre-1918, so it's and then below that ebony. So as we go upstairs, we'll begin to see some of the more everyday items, but the difference between that shaving cup and a china one with, say, a transfer saying Bognor Regis, it's only the material. Otherwise, it's kind of pretty much the same purpose, Yeah. Well, let me show you a couple of motorbikes here. I like motorbikes. This belongs to a friend of mine. This is 1937. It's a V-twin. It's 1,000cc. Invariably, motorcycles didn't have such large engines that weren't really necessary. But this was built to pull a sidecar. So I think this is rather clever. Yeah, I think it's beautiful. This has just been finished. Belonged to a very, very close friend of mine who unfortunately passed away. We built a chopper together. Roy and I built a chopper. And this was his bike, and it's just been restored. It's actually a Rickman Matisse, and it's an oil-in frame. It's a 1972 Triumph 500, and that has just been restored. And my friend Roy Patton would race this, and he was very, very fast. Anyway, you've come to see about barbering. Forgive me. Right, where are we? Now, I hardly know you, but I'm going to take you upstairs. Just out of interest, this is our main showroom, but behind all these doors are the things that make it work, like the accounts department, or the ordering department, or the packing department, or even, let me just quickly show you. This, for those people who don't necessarily believe that we... How many companies can say they still make their stuff? This is where we make all our moustache waxes, beard balms, and beard oils. Right? Don't show them any more because they might see the recipe. Don't see any no recipes. Nothing more to see here. But anyway, this is where it's all done. So it's a bit like the man from U.N.C.L.E. You open a door, and then suddenly you're into a kind of working reality as opposed to a barbering fantasy. Come this way. Oh, sorry. Right. So where were we? Sorry. So here's, I love old things. This is rather It's a fantastic place, salon that does all kind of beautiful antiques and collects barbering stuff over in Lutterworth, good friends of mine, and they always have the most amazing collections of stuff. So here we are though, look at this. Here we have a collection of over 500 shaving mugs and moustache. I mean, it's quite phenomenal. So we've seen downstairs, we saw those solid silver ones, you know, which really are kind of priceless to a certain extent. And then here we've got something, this is local, from Boston. They were very popular in the 40s and 50s. You could buy them as souvenirs when you've been to the seaside or something like that. So they became kind of collectible, but because they were comparatively cheap, they also became throwaway. Quite often they'd be used to mark, say, coronations or particular events. So this one's from 1937, and it talks about the coronation of George VI and all kinds of things. So you can still find these. You know, some of these may be as little as 50 cents, 25p, whatever, a pound or $1, something like that. And they're becoming less available. What I love are the moustache guard cups. If somebody who's earlier was asking how can you prevent, this is a beautiful one. This one here, this one. This one is the coronation of Edward VII, which, as we know, I think was 1904, 1902. I mean, that's just lovely, isn't it? India, June 26th, coronation. Very interesting, this particular one, because there were two coronation dates. I can't remember why. One reason it got postponed or something. So the wrong date one's a bit like a stamp that's a bit wrong. Is worth a lot of money. Let me come and take you in here for a second. Have we got any more questions in? Or has everyone gone home? Have you all gone home?
I'll save them for later. Then.
Okay, save them for later. Well, mustn't we go get those fish and chips? Otherwise, Mum will be ruined. Anyway. So this is our meeting room. So even our meeting room it's all old barbers' chairs and things. So when we come in here, it's all. Anyway, they don't want to sit there. They want to sit in the meeting. Right. So this is a collapsible barber's chair, which would have been used by the British Army, and it's called campaign furniture. And this would date from about 1850, 1860. The whole thing folds flat. It's a death trap, really, because it's a bit like one of those deck chairs. If you're not careful, you sit in it, and it'll actually fold up around you, and then this keeps the flies away. There we are. So that's rather lovely. And I suppose the pièce de la résistance is the razor that I spoke about there, which I'll get out. 1650. Now I'm 400 years old, and I don't know if you can see that. There's still little bits of poetry called cutler's poetry on the blade, and although the blade is crumbling in places, it still has an edge. The shaving bowl, quite often called bleeding bowls, which is not really the case. This one here, it's actually dated 1866. That's German. I mean, I'm sure people don't want to go through all the individual items. I mean, they can always come and have a look. Another one that's rather interesting is this one here, known as a butterfly razor. This one was made by the Napoleonic prisoners of war in Britain. So why they allowed the prisoners to make razors, I don't know. But they'd make things like this from bone, and then they'd be sold to the guards who'd sell them on to allow the prisoners to, buy extra bedding or food or extra things like this. So that's very collectible. And again, here we've got other ones, which is mother of pearl, tortoiseshell. We've got the 7-day set. There's all kinds of things. What we've set up here is very much like a tableau in a way. So it's like a set. So this would be a barber shop, would be very familiar to somebody in the 1880s. So the idea is you can walk through these different areas. If anyone's asking any questions, jump them in there.
Okay.
Cool.
How much do you reckon your collection is worth?
Well, it's very interesting about people who talk about collections and how much things are worth. You know, people say, well, I've got this car and it's worth that much money. I've got this comic that's worth that much money. Something is only really worth as much money as somebody will really pay for it. I mean, for insurance purposes, yes, you need to insure stuff. But to realise who would want this? Where would they put it? You know, it's very interesting. I've got a bat cave at home, but that's another story altogether. So it's very difficult to put a value on it. And to me, because it's history, this is social history, you know, it doesn't really have, it has an incredible value, but it's not a financial value to me, you know, ultimately. It's the idea of collecting, isn't it? Finding some missing piece. You suddenly say, ooh. It's like if you're building an old motorbike and you're going through these auto jumbles and you've been building this bike for years and you're just looking for that one bolt and one day you see it and there's the excitement, isn't it, of discovery and putting something together. Yeah, so.
Captain Matt Webb is asking, do you have any business endeavours that will help towards becoming carbon neutral?
Yeah, well, we endeavour to do our best. We are certainly with our bottles. We're trying to use everything that's recyclable. With our cardboard sourcing, we're actually trying to get that to the best of our ability. We minimise our absolute waste here, so we actually minimise our waste to non-recyclable to about one black sack. There's 14 people here, 9,000 square feet, and we end up with about one black sack of waste a week. So we're doing absolutely everything that we can. So again, really, these are quite interesting hair bottles and things. It's amazing the kind of things that people would rub on their head and still do, actually, in hope of bringing things back. We've got canthidores and bay rum. I mean, canthidores on this one here. I mean, that was known as Spanish fly, as an aphrodisiac. All kinds of quite toxic stuff, really, that people would smear on in the hope of it going back. You know.
Do you have any plans for Christmas?
Well, who's asking? Can you send a photograph?
Bearded Bloke 71.
Okay, Christmas. Well, we normally have a wonderful Christmas lunch. We all go out for a lunch together and things like this. But we don't even know if that's going to happen. Everything's pretty well on hold. I've lost 7 international trips this year. I should have been in Utah, Pakistan, India, plus a number of European countries, and everything's on hold. So I think if anyone has any plans at all, no one can be sure that they will actually happen. So I think what we've done here is pulled in to a certain extent. We've kept going. We've done our plans, for developing our new products. We've got lots of new products coming out this year, rather than just go all cobwebby. But I think planning any trips anywhere at all, or even Christmas for that matter, plan at your peril. So here's some of the oldest razors that we actually have. I suppose the beginning of the safety razor, which actually preempts Gillette. These are phenomenally collectible. Yes, you can. Certainly anyone can come and visit here, by all means. I mean, it's open to the public. At the moment, if you come in, you're going to have to wear a mask and observe the social distancing to a certain extent and sanitizing. But no, the whole museum is open to the public. We had lots of coaches coming, and University of the Third Age and local history societies, and all kinds of people were coming, planning to come. But because, as we know, the recent thing, that's all on hold. But anyone's welcome. We had some people came today. People travel from a long way away. So you'll notice there's bits here to do with tobacco as well, because quite often a barber shop would sell tobacco stuff. There'd also be a bit of a chemist. Or there's a wonderful sign here from tobacconists and hairdressers around about 1920 from Clacton-on-Sea. My friend Penelope has done lots of research on that. If you go onto the live Matterport film, you'll be able to actually wander around here yourself and pick up items, and it will open up and give you a little film about it or history about an individual item. So I don't really want to bore you too much with individual stuff, because you can do it yourself. You can either have a virtual tour, or hopefully you will come and visit. It's free to enter. The only thing is, as you probably know, Captain Fawcett, along with lots of other companies like Rosal and Kent and Val and 81, are involved in the Barber's Ride motorcycle thing we do every year. We've raised close to £60,000 now. So the only thing I say is when people come to the museum, if they can put a little donation, 50p, a pound, whatever, into the pot, then that will all go to Make-A-Wish. So that's cool.
What's your favourite thing in the museum?
Well, somebody did actually ask that a little bit earlier, and I think it has to be that very old razor, because it's priceless. Something like that that's made from steel should last nigh on 400 years. It's mind-bending.
Snorri Mori is asking...
Hi, Snorri. How are you, mate? Are you with the cows? My friend Snorri Mori is an ambassador, and he's actually a farmer, so he quite often sends the most amazing images with all his cows. I quite like the brown one with the lovely eyelashes. Hi, Snorri. Sorry, mate. Anyway, how are you?
Do we get a rocking interlude by Corey during your fish and chips?
Well, we would, but Corey has gone on holiday for 4 days. Otherwise, he would have been here. But so, no, he won't be rocking. But Corey's very, very involved in our upcoming project with the guitar guy that I mentioned earlier, who I can't name. Anyway, well. So then we've moved through from the 1880s, we've now come into this kind of area here, and then I've gone into the 1960s. So this is a barber shop that many of us will remember from our childhoods to a certain extent, because the things didn't really change. Same with design. Design really got stuck after the Second World War. All that kind of deco-influenced stuff that had gone down to become mainstream articles didn't really change till the 50s. And the reason it didn't change is because every country switched to some kind of war effort, and anything to do with kind of aesthetic design just went pretty much out of the window. That's why you'd see something like this, which is pretty much 1940s or 1950s, and yet it looks, phenomenally deco. It was only really after the war and, because rationing still existed in England right up to, I think, 1952 possibly. It's only then at the beginning of the space race and that kind of stuff that the whole design of items shifted. So if we come over to the advent of the electric razors to a certain extent. Just when you start getting into this stuff, here's a perfect example of a Russian one, which kind of Sputnik, and so this is really when the design changed. So I suppose what I'm getting at is a barber shop like that wouldn't have changed until really 70s, maybe even later than that. So a deco influence is quite the accepted norm.
Free Sir, aka Kenneth
Hey,
Johnson,
how are you, mate?
is asking, what about the really old books that you have?
Oh my gosh. Do you want to see them? They are old. Okay, they're normally under my bed. Which books did you want to see? Okay. Right, we can walk this way. Right, so we can do a glance over the top so people can have a deco. Okay, Kenneth, I'll get those books for you in a minute. Nice to see you, bud. We'll, There we are. That's a beautiful sign, that one. Absolutely stunning, isn't it? I love that. Hanging there. Right, I'm going to show you somewhere that people don't normally see. This is the right-hand man's office.
He says not the ones in the bedroom.
Oh no, he doesn't want, not the ones underneath the bed. Okay, mate. This is a family shirt. So, not many people come in here. This is my office. So this is where it really all happens. Is that true? No, I'm never in here. I'm always downstairs creating havoc. But this is my desk, and this is really the kind of bits and bobs. And again, lots of beautiful old books and stuff like this. But there we are. And this is one of the original waxes, the original labels that I first did. We did a limited run of these, just of 100, and it's going to be interesting because we've just decided now that as from the end of this year we're going to discontinue with the glass jars, for various reasons, and we're going to be moving into tin. So these older ones are going to become, if anything like me, quite collectible. So, should we go and have a look at those books?
Yes.
Cool.
While you're walking,
Yeah.
Bearded Bloke is asking what got you into collecting this collection.
I think, as I mentioned earlier, I think it's stuff that's comparatively small, comparatively inexpensive, something that everybody would have had a piece, still do, don't they? I mean, every single person who's listening in or in will have a razor. So it's something that's easily accessible, and I think just the more you see, oh, that's interesting. The more, so that's it then. I mean, even here, this is pretty well throwaway stuff. We've all seen this. You can see this in like a little, junk shop, second-hand shop. There's nothing of value particularly, but beyond, it's just of huge interest. And this is a present from, I think this is a present from Ian and Lou and things like this. But they're all... Hey, Ricky, how are you, mate? Good to see you. Thank you for coming in. Oh, Ricky, I hear we're doing a shoot here on Wednesday now. Do you know about that with Harley Davidson? I was just told about it on Friday, so I'll see you again. Yeah? Do you know about it, Rick? Right, I'll get me those. Let's get some of those books.
He said, I'll see you Wednesday for Harley.
Brilliant. I've got to find out from Jen if he's bringing them a bike or whatever. Okay, these are incredibly special. A couple of them I've actually just had rebound, but I mean, they're just beautiful. I think this one dates from about 1732, an essay on beards, originally in French. I mean, it's just stunning. I mean, a couple of books have been reprinted and are available, in modern editions. But I just think it's, again, having that. This one's all about razors, a treatise on razors. I believe this will look 1799. It's a second edition. The Philosophy of Beards. Some of them have got some really nice illustrations in, actually. I mean, they're priceless. $18.39. And I think this one might have some pictures on. Otherwise, we'll have to go back to the ones under the bed. Here we are, look. Some of the styles here. I mean, look at this. Maybe Stingray. That might be a ideal beard for you, pal. I mean, you've got a few little gaps here and stuff. What do you think? But I mean, they're amazing. Look at this. He's ended the book. He's actually written the end of the book in the shape of a beard. In the year of our Lord, 1839. I mean, this is just, unbelievable. So...
Ian Tyra's asking,
Hi, Ian.
Can we see your Captain Fawcett Sportster?
Yes, by all means, yeah. Hi, Ian, how you doing? Ian is the guy I rode with on... I want to show him something else. Ian's a guy I rode with on Barber Shop, and I'm proud to call him a chum. And I donated... I did pay the £10, honestly, officer. Here. He's going over there. Ian Tyra, what's the name of his club? What do I say about my trip to Dubai? Dubai was absolutely fantastic. I really, really enjoyed my trip there. The hospitality, I remember meeting Mohammed and so forth. Fantastic. I mean, brilliant. And the guys at Chaps & Co. And I have a distributor there. I'm just itching to get travelling again. Dubai, rock. I've just heard as well that I think is in Dubai. They were just in Harvey Nichols. Now is it Dubai or
think so.
Yeah, or UAE or something. But, brilliant. Dubai, you rock. Now the Harley, here we are. This is an HD 48 Sportster, which was built by Lind Harley Davidson. It was actually built for the original Barber's Ride, which was 2017. And we made the bags. So the whole idea of the bags is that they're like old-fashioned Victorian cases, and we keep all the shaving stuff in. And this holds the hot water. And the idea is that you could rock up, take a little chair off, and give a shave on the side of the road. Oh yeah, I've heard about that, mate. I've seen the photograph of your... So Ian's just saying he's going to be riding Barber's Ride 2021, and he's actually going to be on his bike. Brilliant. I've seen the photograph. It looks in your shed. It looks great. Absolutely brilliant. Well done, mate. Yeah. Well, you have to come... Well, you've been here one time. So...
Scandinavia Barbering Academy is asking, can you come back to Sweden?
Well, yes, I most definitely. I mean, I can't wait for this lockdown bananas to finish, because it's all gone a bit silly, hasn't it? So I nip over here. It's all gone a bit... it's all gone a bit silly, hasn't it, really? And I'm just itching to travel. What I am looking forward to is travelling all through the Baltic states. So I want to take my motorcycle. That wasn't me, I haven't been drinking. I want to take my motorcycle and go through Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia, Poland, Czech Republic and stuff. So, you know, if you want me to visit, just give me a shout, and I'll certainly try and endeavour to get in on the trip. Yeah, great. I can't wait. In fact, my wife can't wait for me to go as well.
How can we never see the captain?
Well, the captain is actually a very, very shy man. And, of course, as you will all know, his mother has been particularly poorly. In fact, he's actually at the sanatorium in Blackpool as we speak. So he quite often says he's going to go places, and then something comes up and he can't do it. So I invariably end up going in his place. I need to talk to him about a pay rise. He's very tight, the captain.
Gillies Barber, say hello. Brendan.
Hi, Gillies. How are you, mate? Brilliant. Host of the Barber's Ride. They actually, Gillies Barbers in Baildon, hosted us on the last night. I mean, great guys. And I'm looking forward to riding with them again in 2021. Plus, I'm not sure if it's Andy or Gilly, but I'm going to be in Leeds in the next 2 weeks. So I'll give you a shout, and maybe we can go and get a kebab or something if I'm allowed into Leeds.
Have you ever dyed your beard or your hair?
I have dyed my hair. In the 70s, my hair was completely blonde with pink flash and a blue flash here. And of course, to get, as you guys hairdressers will know, to get a really good colour on dark hair, you have to bleach it. And I used to bleach my hair twice. So first of all, you go like a kind of a darky orangey yellow, and then I bleach it again to try and get a reflective base, to try and get a good white, to be able to put the colour on. I used to use crazy colour. At my age now, I mean, I'm still proud having long hair. You know, I feel quite honoured still to have hair. I wouldn't bleach it. I'd hate it. I mean, it is getting thinner. It's a thing of being older. But I have dyed my beard blue a little bit here and there. Yeah, I like to experiment. Hey, life's fun. Is that pretty well it?
Yeah.
Okay, what time is it?
It's nearly...
It's nearly time for my fish and chips. Listen, I'd like to thank every single man, Jack and lady for actually joining me at HQ today. It's been a privilege, absolute privilege. I'll go back and I'm sure we'll realise that we've missed oodles of questions or whatever. But fish and chips are calling. Do go on to the Matterport thing. Do go and have a look and have a virtual tour. Drop me an email if you want a cup or anything like that. We can sort something out. And thank you very, very much indeed for supporting Captain Fawcett and the Right Hand Man. Ladies and gentlemen, you rock.